This guitar is ridiculously out of tune. Alright, what is up guys? It is Taylor here for Beacom of Light, and it is January 2018. It is really disgusting outside in New York City, but I'm happy to be alive and I'm happy to discuss some things that I wanted to talk about with you right now. So Trump reportedly called a bunch of countries shitholes, and I gotta be honest with you, they are shitholes. Have you been to Haiti? I haven't, probably because I've never wanted to go to Haiti. Now, it doesn't mean the people are bad. To me, it doesn't mean that the people are bad necessarily. It means that the countries are full of low-skilled workers and they're less prosperous than the United States. Now, what counts as prosperity? Well, I would say generally the lifespan, healthcare, education, opportunity of growth, economic opportunity, and so on. Job opportunities, less violence, which we do have per capita than most of these places. And these places have less prosperity, therefore less highly skilled workers. The more people you bring in who do low skilled work, the more competition you have for American low skilled workers. The majority of those people happen to be minorities, by the way. American minorities, blacks, Latinos. What do you have to say about that, Democrats? Huh? You're putting American minorities out of work by demanding the increase of the importation of people from low-skilled, less prosperous countries. It makes sense to want the creme de la creme. If you have a Haitian guy with a doctorate or some sort of rocket science degree, I clearly don't have one, bring him on. But when you're importing people who have no skills, what exactly is that doing for the outcome of this country and the people here? Listen, of course, Trump's rhetoric is repugnant and horrible, and we should definitely hold higher standards for rhetoric and vernacular for the president of the United States. But let's not forget why Trump was elected in the first place, okay? People were tired of the politically correct bullshit. There's a lack of real talk, or what some people may call it, in Washington. Fact. For example, okay, when I criticize a religion, I differentiate between the doctrine and the people following that doctrine. If I say I think Christianity, Islam, and Judaism are stupid, which I do, I'm not saying its followers are. Not all of them, anyway. Humans often speak in verbal shorthand to get a point across. Well, as we know, our president has the shortest of hands. See what I did there? I made a joke about it because people make a joke. We're making jokes about his hands. I may be reading into it too much. But my first thoughts on this subject were essentially the question, do you want to live in any of those places? You know, there's a reason why people are coming here and not going to Haiti or any of these other countries. It doesn't mean the people are bad, again. It just means there is less prosperity for humans, or so it seems, and at least opportunity than the United States. In regards to immigration, a lot of people that I end up debating with or discussing the subject with will tell me that if I were an immigrant and came here, that I wouldn't want to go back to that country, so we shouldn't deport them. Now, there's some logic in that, of course. And I think they're largely right. I don't want to live in Tijuana or Port-au-Prince or any of these places. I'm sure the people are lovely in some ways, and there are many, many good things about it. In fact, I'm sure there's more good things about it than there are bad. But the argument becomes sort of nullified if you're using that process. If you're using that argument, you certainly can't say that these places aren't shitholes then, at least in the way we use the term shithole, or our president uses the term shithole. I don't know. Listen, if some of these places that he called shitholes don't qualify as shitholes, then what does? Are we going to start saying that friggin', Syria is not a shithole right now, it doesn't mean the people are bad. If you go to Skid Row, does it have to be America for it to be a shithole? If you go to Skid Row in Los Angeles, that's a shithole. If you go to certain parts of New York City, all I know is that Trump is probably the worst orator as a president, past and present. And I hope he starts to consider eloquence as a virtue, which it's been a little while since he's been in office. It doesn't seem like that's going to happen. I don't know, but if there are certain parts of New York City that most people would agree are shitholes, maybe he's not far off about these other places.